This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Women's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial. And joining me today is Caleb Doane, their Vice President. And guess what? If you are expecting a baby, then you want to listen up. Hey there, Caleb.
Hey.
All right, so we're going to continue the conversation. If you're expecting, congratulations. But guess what? There is a list of financial things that you need to consider before and after having your child. And you're going to break it all down for us, part two.
Yeah, that's right. I know we talked a little bit last time. My wife and I, we've got a 20-month-old daughter. We've also got a baby boy coming very soon here. So we did a lot of this stuff when my daughter was born, but also we're kind of thinking about how the financial plan is going to change a little bit with another child in the house. So
I can only imagine. Whew.
Yeah, it's
So
certainly
much.
a big life change. So we talked a little bit about cash flow planning and life insurance planning last time. I wanted to talk a little bit about 529 accounts and Trump accounts this time, and maybe touch on some retirement planning as well.
Right. Okay. So you all have to watch part one, and we kind of teased it like, okay, now let's get into these accounts. So what is a 529 account?
Yeah, so this is an education savings investment account, and it has certain tax advantages with it. So 529 accounts, you can contribute the money to it. It can be invested and grow tax-free and be withdrawn tax-free as long as it's used for education expenses. So a lot of times grandparents, really love these accounts. It's good for the parents to have them set up too, but if you're a recent grandparent, maybe send this segment to your child and think about contributing to the 529 accounts. Indiana also sweetens the deal with the 529 accounts. So they have an extra tax benefit. When you contribute to the 529 accounts, you get a 20% state tax credit up to a $7,500 contribution. So if I contribute $7,500 to the 529 account, the state of Indiana gives me a $1,500 state tax credit for that year.
That year?
Yeah. Yep, for that year, and you can do that every single year. So it's up to $7,500. If I contribute $7,500, I get $1,500. If before making the contribution I had owed in, $1,500 to Indiana, I make that contribution, I owe nothing. So it's much better than a deduction. A tax credit is definitely preferable.
That made me think about something with tax credits. I'm wondering the psychology behind it, because it's like, why not, if someone makes a $7,500 deposit, why not just add $1,500 to their account?
Right, it'd be like a match, right?
Yeah, like, are tax credits really to try to get people to make sure they're filing their taxes, and giving them an incentive? Because I hear so much credit back.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's some psychology behind it, but I mean, everyone's used to like the child tax credit, and that's a nice benefit.
When you file your taxes.
Right, exactly. So yeah, the government sweetens the deal a little bit there and encourages you to take advantage of some of those things.
Yeah.
So certainly 529 accounts can be a wonderful tool to use. And then also those Trump accounts. So I mean, the Trump accounts, which will kind of go fully live midway through the year here, they certainly have some different tax implications than 529 accounts. But at the very least, it's going to make sense for most people to open up a Trump account to at least get that federal government $1,000 deposit that can go in there. So if your child is born anytime throughout the year, I believe from 2025 through 2028, you'll be eligible to get that $1,000 contribution from the government.
So that's like the criteria. If you have a child during that, or multiple children, I guess, you get a Trump account for each child.
Yes.
And is this something, once it is launched, is this something that people just go to their bank and say, hey, open up one of those Trump accounts?
It's there's going to be certain custodians that are being used for this. So I think they're still in the process of finalizing which custodians. They were even talking about using Robinhood or I think BNY Mellon at some point. So there will be certain custodians where this will be opened. I'm sure they'll have kind of a government website that directs you to that. But those Trump accounts, at the very least, opening it up and getting that $1,000 contribution makes sense. Whether additional contributions from the parents into that account make sense, or directing them to the 529 account can depend on the individual person, whether they're already maxing out the 529 accounts. There will be different scenarios to kind of determine where your future contribution should go. go. But that's a great way to start planning for education expenses or investing on behalf of your child ahead of time.
And I wonder, because I know the 529 account is so amazing. The first time you told me about it, I was like, oh my goodness, why aren't people using this more to be able to put in and not have to receive any type of taxes or penalties? But with the Trump account, I'm wondering if they work together, or do you just get the money from the Trump account and then put it in a 529? or is that account going to have the same benefit and the scope of focusing on the child through the longevity of it, is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, the Trump account doesn't have the same requirements that it has to be used for education. Education is one of the things that, of course, the money can be used for. But the Trump accounts are a little bit broader. But also the tax benefits in the Trump account are just a little bit different than what they are in the 529 account, especially with Indiana kind of sweetening the deal with the 529s. Usually it tips towards being more beneficial for folks in Indiana to contribute to the 529 account. But oftentimes, when people open up the Trump accounts, it's going to make sense to get that $1,000 deposit from the government, have that money be invested, and then additional contributions could just go into the 529 account instead. So certainly all of that is really helpful planning for the kids. But I'd say probably even a priority above that is making sure that you're taken care of for your retirement planning as well. I mean, of course, we want to take care of the kids' education and all of that, but usually even a little bit higher on the priority list is making sure that you have the ability to retire at some point as a parent. And so we want to make sure that even when you have a kid, there's a lot of expenses that come up that are associated with that. We want to make sure that you're still able to sufficiently plan for retirement. And so we want to make sure you're contributing, 15% roughly, depending on somebody's financial plan, to their 401k or 403b at work. And then once that's satisfied, we can move on to some of those, secondary and tertiary criteria or goals for helping fund the kids' education.
Good. So basically, don't get all your money locked into the kids' account because you're so excited to plan for their college.
Exactly.
You still have to remember.
Need a good balance of both. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so the closer to rolling out these new Trump accounts, we'll have more information.
Yeah.
And is it going to be on the 250th birthday of America, also Trump's birthday, I'm assuming, when these will roll out?
Yeah, I think it's going to be midway through the year. I think they were talking about 4th of July as kind of their target for having everything rolled out. So I'm sure more information. We'll probably do another segment on it when we get closer to that.
Closer to. All right. Thank you, Caleb, as always.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their website and their phone number listed below. You can contact them for more information. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.